Earning passive income in crypto seems so simple, right? Just stake your tokens and watch the rewards roll in. But here is the problem most people miss. Staking can either be the best thing for your investment, strengthening it over time, or it can be a slow, silent killer that destroys its value from the inside out. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how staking really works, and more importantly, how to tell the difference between a good opportunity and a trap. Staking is always marketed as the ultimate passive income machine in crypto, but let's be crystal clear. Staking is not free money. It's a delicate balance, a trade-off between the rewards you earn and the dilution that can eat away at your holdings. To succeed, you have to understand both sides of this equation. So, what is staking at its core? Usually, it involves locking up your tokens for a period of time. Bedeutet, you're actively participating in the network, maybe by helping to secure it or by voting on its future through governance. In return for your commitment, the network gives you rewards. This process is designed to align your interests with the long-term health of the project. If the network succeeds, you succeed. It sounds great, but the devil is in the details, specifically where those rewards are coming from. This is far more important than the reward percentage itself. Staking rewards typically come from one of three sources: inflation, network fees, or a pre-allocated treasury. Let's break them down. Rewards that come from real network activity, like transaction fees, are generally the healthiest sign. This means the network is being used. It's generating real revenue, and a portion of that value is being shared with you, the staker. It's a sustainable model. On the other hand, rewards that come from inflation are a different story. Inflation means the protocol is creating new tokens out of thin air to pay the This increases the total supply of the token, and when the supply of something increases, its individual value tends to go down. This is called If the staking rewards are excessively high and are funded purely by this kind of inflation, the protocol is essentially just printing money to pay you. While your token count goes up, the price of each token is quietly being pushed down by the ever-increasing supply. So whenever you see those eye-popping, super high staking yields, you have to stop and ask some critical questions. First, why is the annual percentage yield, or a PY, so high? Is this level of return actually sustainable in the long run? And most importantly, who is ultimately paying for these rewards? If the answer is that rewards come mainly from aggressive inflation, then you're in a tricky situation. Sure, your personal token balance is growing, but if the total supply is growing even faster, your actual share of the network, your real purchasing power might be going down. You could be getting richer in tokens, but poorer in real-world value. Another critical factor to consider is lockups. Some staking systems require you to lock your tokens for a set period, have delays before you can get them back, or even impose penalties if you try to withdraw early. These lockup mechanics aren't just for show. They can actually reduce short-term selling pressure and help stabilize the token's price, at least temporarily. By taking tokens off the market, they create a sense of scarcity. But there's a catch. What happens when those lockup periods end? All at once, a large amount of supply can come flooding back onto the market. This sudden increase can lead to a surge in volatility and often a sharp drop in price, especially if a lot of stakers decide to sell their newly unlocked tokens and rewards at the same time. That's why you should always check the unstaking rules and timelines before you commit your funds. Know how long your tokens will be locked and what the process is for getting them back. Now, let us get to the most important question you can ask about any staking system. Are the incentives aligned? A well-designed incentive structure aligns the interests of everyone involved. The users who stake, the developers who build, the investors who hold, and the network itself. Everyone is pulling in the same direction, toward long-term success. In contrast, a poorly designed system creates conflict. It might reward short-term behavior, like people who just jump in to farm high yields and then immediately sell their rewards, putting constant downward pressure on the price. Or worse, it could create loopholes that can be exploited. So, ask yourself, does this staking model encourage me to hold the token for the long term because I believe in the project? Or does it secretly encourage me to sell my rewards as fast as I get them? The answer tells you a lot about the project's future. Staking works best and creates real, lasting value under a specific set of conditions. First, The users staking their tokens should genuinely believe in the project's long-term vision. The rewards they earn should be a supplement to the token's real, fundamental value, not the only reason to hold it. And crucially, the rate of inflation used to pay rewards should decrease over time. This creates a natural transition, moving the project from an initial growth phase, where high incentives attract new users, to a phase of long-term sustainability, where the network stands on its own. Without that planned transition, staking just becomes a short-term trap, destined to fail once the initial hype dies down. So, you need to be cautious and watch for certain red flags. Be very wary of extremely high APs that seem too good to be true. They almost always are. Be suspicious if the rewards are purely based on inflation with no clear path to reduce it. Another major red flag is when staking is essentially mandatory just to avoid being diluted into oblivion. If you have to stake simply to keep your head above water, that's not a healthy ecosystem. Finally, beware of incentive systems that never change or evolve. Good projects adapt their tokenomics over time to ensure long-term health. Systems that never evolve often collapse once the initial excitement fades and the money printing can no longer support the token price. But it's not all doom and gloom. When done right, staking is a powerful tool that can support long-term value. This happens when inflation is kept under control, when rewards are tied to real network activity and revenue, and when holding the token is rewarded more than just farming and selling. In these healthy ecosystems, staking genuinely strengthens the entire token economy, creating a positive feedback loop of growth and stability. Many beginners make the mistake of only focusing on one question: how much can I earn? But the smart investors, the ones who succeed in the long run, ask a different set of questions. They ask, how are these rewards being paid for? What is the long-term effect on the token's total supply? And who truly benefits the most from this system? Remember, the goal of staking should be to improve your overall position in a network you believe in, not to blindly chase a high number that might be hiding a much bigger risk. Staking rewards are not real profits unless they contribute to creating sustainable, long-term value. Now that you understand the dynamics of staking, we're ready to dive into our next critical topic: token velocity and the flow of value. In the next chapter, you'll learn why tokens that move too quickly often struggle to hold their value, how user holding behavior directly impacts price, and why, in some cases, the simple act of spending a token can actually hurt all investors. This concept ties everything we've discussed together. In Part 8, we'll break down the powerful concept of token velocity, and you'll see why slowing money down can sometimes be the key to increasing its value. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can continue the series with us. Thanks for watching.